The balloon party has returned back to the United States. If you are unaware, currently over the United States, there is a balloon flying due east, west to east, over the state of Utah, and the trajectory of the balloon looks like it's going to head towards Georgia. Now, I already know what you guys are thinking. How convenient is it that only like a few hours ago from the time of making this video, or a day ago if you will, the entire AT&T network goes down and other major cell phone services go down, and all of a sudden, a day later, there is a balloon hovering nearly above the center of the United States. So what exactly is going on? Let's go ahead and dig into all of this. I'll let you guys know what's out there, the truth, not the truth. Let's get into it. First things first, NORAD, North American Air Defense, they spotted the balloon and detected the balloon at about 40 to 45,000 feet above Utah. Now, if you ask me, that's slightly concerning because you would think the United States already knows that there is a high altitude balloon threat, especially from the country of China. Even though China can say all day that the balloons that they fly over the world, they are weather balloons, sometimes they accidentally fly over the United States conveniently. No, the United States should know better that that is absolute BS, but as it stands right now, the balloon flying over the United States, it poses no threat as if it is a Chinese balloon. The reason for this is because there's only a 2-foot box is what the United States is reporting. Essentially, what they are trying to say is the balloon cannot be armed and the balloon does not pose an immediate threat. And one thing I do want to point out, even though I compared this balloon to the Chinese balloon, there really is not that much of a comparison other than the nomenclature that they were both balloons. Now, the current balloon as it stands is flying at 40 to 45,000 feet like I had mentioned. The Chinese balloons that were spotted over the United States, we're talking up to 60,000 feet. Massive difference. Something else that's a lot different is that the Chinese balloons, they were about 100 feet tall. This balloon is a lot smaller. So again, it's hard to say where this balloon came from because you can't really compare this balloon to the Chinese balloons. I'm just giving you a comparison because that's all we have to compare to. As citizens of the United States, I think the last thing anyone would ever worry about were World War I tactics where somebody will fly a balloon in the air, attach a rope to it, and try to get the job done that way. So that is currently the major threat of the United States as it stands. Now, as far as like conspiracy theories and things like that, it is rather ironic that a day later when the entire network shut down of the United States, as far as AT&T, and I think T-Mobile also got hit, but you can go ahead and fact check me on that. It is weird that all of a sudden there is a high altitude balloon flying over the United States and nobody knows who it belongs to, and everyone is saying there's no threat, but is there really no threat? Again, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but I do want to acknowledge that I understand that the timing of this is very weird and a little concerning. Now, as far as NORAD, North American Air Defense, what they are saying is, again, there is no threat. So you can't expect this balloon to get shot down, again, over the center of the United States. If the balloon was going to get shot down, it would probably get shot down, again, where the last spy balloons were shot down, which is the Atlantic, or at least around the Gulf of Mexico, essentially off of the mainland United States. It's not worth the collateral damage for NORAD to go ahead and send or scramble some jets out to take this high altitude balloon out. But again, one thing that we do know is that this is a high altitude balloon and it does not affect air travel of the United States because it's sitting at about 40 to 45,000 feet. According to the FAA and according to NORAD, it's not going to disrupt any air travel, which would be a major concern because if you disrupt air travel, you are actually messing up a lot of things for the United States as far as logistics goes. But yeah, that is currently what's going on. Nobody knows who this is pointed to. Of course, we're all going to look at China and say, well, China, you guys did it last. But again, I don't really have the visual to show you guys or compare the vast difference between this current balloon and the Chinese balloon, but you have to understand, when you looked at the Chinese balloon, you could see from the ground how massive it was. In fact, there was even a data gathering like little center under the balloon, the Chinese balloon, that was the size of 2 buses or freights. So this is not that, which again could be a little confusing and a little weird for the United States to try and determine what exactly this is. I don't want to get too much into speculation. I can leave that up to you guys if you want to leave your comments and opinions, and you guys can try and figure out what exactly this could be. But one thing I do want to point out is that China, if it is coming from China, they have found the Achilles heel of the United States. When you look at the wind patterns of China, they could just go ahead and release like 50 balloons at a time, and statistically speaking, a lot of them will end up reaching the United States. Now, this is not the first time that weather balloons were released from the east of the world and they managed to land over the United States and even over South America, because again, statistically speaking, as long as you release some balloons up in the air, eventually they're going to reach their targets. But I just want to point out there that there is no evidence to say that this current weather balloon is a threat. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is show you guys a CBS report. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, but this is the official report coming from mainstream news if you want to go ahead and take a look at that.